What up, and welcome to another whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Thank you for joining me for review number 223. It feels like, if it does feel like, and I mean it probably does, if it does feel like I've been doing an awful lot of peated whiskies recently, it's because I've been doing a lot of peated whiskies recently. Why? I genuinely do not know. I don't know. Let me explain to you how my reviewing system works. It all gets battered about in my head. I record these things first. I record backgrounds first, as you'll see in a minute. So generally what happens is that I've got these backgrounds and I do the reviews based around a batch of backgrounds that I've recorded. It just seems to have I've ended up firing a lot of peated whiskies in there. So if you don't like peated whiskey and you've been watching me for a while and going, does he ever review anything else? I will at some point, but not for any time soon. It's all going to be peated for a while, so apologies. This time, Kilchoman, the Loch Gorm. Just went off on one there. The Loch Gorm. This one sort of, I suppose, getting on to the peak of their entry-level stuff. So you're looking at the Macker Bay, the Sanig, and then the Loch Gorm, pretty much in that order. These would be a more, say, smaller batch release. So this is the 2022 edition, and it was 17,250 bottles. It's not a very, very small batch, but in the scheme of things, and, you know, there are an awful lot of whiskey fans out there, so 17,250 bottles isn't a lot. That was a vatting of, was it 22 barrels, Oloroso casks, all a minimum age of 8 years. So it's you know, there's a bit of credibility going on there. Bottled at 46% once again, I think. Yep, non-chill filter, no color added. A lot of time for Kilchoman. I have a lot of time for Kilchoman. I you know, since that distillery opened up in the early 2000s, and I have an awful lot of respect for them. They were one that, to me, not that I'm saying others haven't, but to me, they just slotted right into that Islay thing. That, you know, what we knew Islay whiskey for. That Islay was known for its peated malts before the likes of Bruichladdich and all came back again and started. I mean, okay, Buna was there doing unpeated malt and stuff, but Kilchoman to me just slotted right in, and they're making a peated malt which just fits right in with that feel of Islay. There, it's a bit of a sort of fleeting comment, I suppose, but you know, it just, to me, good. Well done to them. Well done, Kilchoman. Good on you. Right, let's go on this. Oh man, I talk some. Right, yes, bottled at 46%. It has that sort of nice, rich, ever so slightly rubbery peated note. Fruity and rich. Weirdly, I actually get slight hints of dry roasted peanut on this. Not always, but it's just sometimes it's just there in the background. Fantastically well balanced. Peated malt, Oloroso sherry, when done right, incredible. And this is a good example. That very evident smokiness is really well matched by rich fruity notes, and it's like fruit and nut chocolate. Yeah, that would actually be a very good way to describe this, or tiffin, if anybody remembers tiffin, with even the hints of biscuit in it. This is the sort of thing that reminds me that maybe you're looking at a distillery here using very fresh or even wet sherry casks. because I get notes here that I tend to get off actually Oloroso sherry itself. When you're looking at things like Worcester sauce and hence like the slightly vinegary, more sharp notes, ones that they're notes that I tend to find on Glenturret 12 and what was the other, Edredor 12-year-old, where, as I say, you get this impression that they've been using very wet casks, and it's just that real proper Oloroso sherry thing is coming through. It hasn't been muted in any way whatsoever. And I said before, and I'll say it again, so well balanced out with that peated malt. Lovely, rich, sweet, sour, ever so slightly bitter arrival. It feels a bit softer in the palate than the nose would suggest. Once again, this is just really well balanced. The smokiness is all over it. But it's a lovely. It's not dirty. It doesn't feel earthy. It's a clean smoke. Very evident. As I said, it is. The smokiness is all over it. But because those rich dried fruit and as I mentioned earlier, tiffin, so you're looking even more like chocolate and sultana, biscuit, because they're all there and because they all work so well together. It's, oh man, I'm even getting a slight tobacco and a slight mintiness. There was I never did it, but I remember smelling it. Was there an old minty chewing tobacco? Somebody let me know in the comments. I think there was an old, something like a chewing tobacco or something like that there. And I remember, and that's what this reminds me of, where the tobacco notes and the minty notes are together, but they work well together. This is so Moorish. I just want to keep them back to this. And every time I do, I find more notes, I find more going on. Actually, I'm just read. My eyesight ain't great at the minute, but rich dark chocolate. I'm reading on the tasting notes in the back of this, and yeah, I would agree. But as I said, there's rich dark chocolate with loads of dried fruit in there as well, going along with it. This is fantastic. Oh man, the finish is long, as expected, but it's not all about the smoke. The smoke is, of course, there. The sherry cask influence is the star of the show here. That's actually what's winning out. Still balance, yes, all the balance is there, but it's the sherry cask that's conducting the whole show. The smoke is about, but it's just so well balanced out with that sherry that the finish just has all those rich notes with a slight bitter smokiness hanging around the back. Added quite a drop of water there. It doesn't change the nose an awful lot. If anything, it brings out the slightly sweeter notes of the Oloroso. It certainly doesn't do it any harm, a drop of water. As a matter of fact, I would suggest that drop of water, and it was quite a drop of water, does actually improve this a little. It was balanced before. It's even more balanced now. I've said it quite a bit in the past that if water does anything, what it does and what it's doing here is that if there are any edges on there, it's just rounding them out a bit. And that's what happens here. Oh yeah, yeah. Once again, if anything, just slightly softer, but rounding out those edges, making it more palatable. It hasn't changed this outstandingly, you know, which I wouldn't want it to. It was fantastic before. It's just made it more palatable. Lovely. Lovely. 80 to 90 pounds. Is it 80 to 90 pounds? Lovely. This is the bit that sort of has me holding back a little on the Kilchoman Loch Gorm. I held back on this for quite a while anyway. I've had this bottle probably, as a matter of fact, I was bought this fairly late last year, but I'm enjoying it, as you can see, and I enjoyed it so much that I have went to town on it a little at times. Would I replace it? I don't know. I would like to. I would love to, because I do love it. It's just on the top end of the price that I would like to be paying for it. And this is something I don't consider this a budget channel. I'm not trying to, you know, reduce all what I'm paying to the sort of bottom end. But at the same time, is it worth it? Is, you know, the question you have to ask is, it's good, but is it as good as what you wish to pay for it? And in this case, it's one of those that's just teetering right on the edge of, I would not pay that amount of money for it again. However, it is bloody good. It is bloody good. I'm actually going to leave it there, and we'll skip on to what's coming next, because that might explain that a little better. Yes, I was saying, would I replace it? Would I pay that money for it again? I'm going to tell you now what I would suggest as a good alternative for this. The 2022 in this case, but it doesn't have to be the 2022. Any one of them probably. Bunnahabhain, 12-year-old cask strength. Oh man, this stuff is mind-blowing. And I'm going right out there and saying it is mind-blowing. I'll put my link up in here for my review of it. Loved it. And it's a good alternative for this. This is the Bunnahabhain's a much oilier, thicker, sherried thing. But just, yet again, very strong. I mean, this one was bottled at 56.6%. So it's quite a bit stronger than the Kilchoman. But, you know, they're on similar paths. They are on similar paths. This Bunnahabhain, when I'm finished this, as long as they keep making a 12-year-old cask strength, I will keep replacing it. I'm not going to buy every year. I don't do that. I don't do that with my favourite whiskies. When, you know, as soon as the next one's released, I'll buy another one. As soon as it's released, I'll buy another one, even though I've still got 2 bottles of it now. This is the way I work. When it's done, I find the next iteration of it. When this is done, when the Kilchoman is done, will I go out and buy another one? That is the question. And the answer is, I don't know. I don't know. If I still see it, I mean, this, I could now, I did go to town on this over the period of a few months. The rest of this could now sit on my shelf for the next year and a half before I go back to it. Now, don't come at me. Don't come at me and go, oh, don't let that sit in here because it'll just go off in that year and a half. No, it won't. It bloody won't. I'm convinced it won't. And I'll keep every now and again just dipping back into it and having a little drop of it. Maybe a little drop of it. Doesn't go off that quick. I haven't had a whiskey go off on me yet that sat on my shelf for quite a while, opened. Maybe it does happen, but I haven't had it. So look, when I drag this out, which I will, I'll drag it out a bit, and then I'll go back in and will I replace it whenever it's finished? I might. I don't know. We'll see what price it's going at then. Look, I've dragged that out long enough. Dragged that out long, and I'll drag this bottle out nearly. So thank you very much. This was a fantastic whiskey. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much to my patrons, should anybody wish to join that group. The details are in the video description below, should anybody wish to join that group. I'll be back next time. Something, Pete it. Until then, look after yourselves. Here's to your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.